What if I told you one of the biggest things holding you back from those massive outcomes and that massive income potential that you have inside of you is not your pitch, it's not your presentation. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with your self-concept and your perception of circumstances and people. That's what we're going to cover today in Sales is Easy. My name's Devin Gall. I'm your friend and mentor in business, marketing, and sales. Let's get started. This is the deep dive into the 8 steps to success. Number 6, step 6, maintain attitude. A positive attitude will allow you to take control of the situation. First, we got to start with how are you thinking? How are you thinking about yourself? How are you thinking about your situations? Are you positive when things are positive? And I don't mean rah-rah positive, I mean like I'm able to do anything, whatever happens. That kind of positivity. So you want to start with a good self-concept with yourself, all right? A great one is I am capable of greatness. That's your default. Or you can just say, I am greatness. That's where you want to start. Your subconscious mind is a supercomputer. It's actually more powerful than a supercomputer. It's more powerful than all the supercomputers in the world combined. It can do billions and billions and billions of processes every second. But it has limitations. It doesn't have discernment like your conscious mind does. So you've heard the phrase, never joke about yourself because your subconscious mind doesn't know you're joking. Well, that's why you cannot talk down about yourself. You can't think negative thoughts about yourself because your brain is literally just a computer. Your subconscious mind is just a computer, and it's garbage in, garbage out. It might not come out right away. It might come out days later. It might come out weeks later. But the more garbage you feed it, self-doubt, worry, fear, those kind of things, anger, hatred, those kind of things are going to be things that you're going to notice more and you're going to be able to pick up on. Tony Robbins has a great exercise on this where he tells everybody to look around the room and notice every single thing that's brown. Look around, see, shoes, the chair, the bench, the stage, whatever. Look at every single thing and commit it to memory. Every single thing you can think of that's brown and you see right now. And then he says, now close your eyes and tell me everything that you saw that was red. A lot of people are like, I was focusing on the brown. It's because what you focus on is what you're going to get. Where attention goes, energy flows, that kind of thing. So if you're focusing on negativity, your brain's going to be able to see that more. If you're focusing on anger, you're going to be able to find things to get angry about. If you're focusing on worry, you're going to be able to find more things to worry about. So you need to focus on positivity, focus on joy, focus on ability, capability, focus on your greatness. When things are not going your way, that's when you need to double down. That's when you need to triple down on this exercise. So you don't start getting overwhelmed. You don't start getting sucked in to that negative cycle. You keep yourself steady. This is the great separator of people that are in sales to people that move into leadership. This is the ability to stay focused, maintain positivity, maintain consistency, even when things aren't going your way. Ask any entrepreneur, ask any successful business owner if it was a joyride the entire time. What's the one common thread? If you're in business, you're in sales, you look to entrepreneurs, you look to other people that have had massive success. What's the one common thread throughout all their success stories? a lot of times it wasn't going their way, and they kept going. They knew, they had a vision to keep going. So this is the great separator, meaning, are you getting sucked into the negative spirals so then all you're noticing is more negativity? Or are you keeping yourself in the right mind all the time? I grew up on a family farm in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. My closest neighbor was 5 miles away. So long story short, it was a very isolated type situation growing up. And we didn't have a lot of money because we were living the family farm life. You know, we were rich in sunshine and we had good food. There were a lot of great things, but my family instilled in me a never enough type of mindset. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was in 3rd grade, I was wearing hand-me-down clothes from my uncle who was like 30, right? I'm like 6 or 7 years old. I'm wearing 30-year-old clothes because my parents couldn't even buy new clothes. And I needed a belt because my pants were too big. So my dad made me a belt out of some hay bale twine. And I wore that to school for most of 3rd grade. And the kids would make fun of me, and I didn't really understand why, but it was like demoralizing, right? So, because I couldn't even afford a belt, or I couldn't even afford clothes that would fit me well, right? So, I don't know what your situation is, but I get it. I get it. We are products of our environment, and my dad and my mom and the rest of my extended family, there was never, ever enough. And whenever little tiny things came up, a lot of times I would be the one that was missing out because we wouldn't be able to get those kind of things. So when I found sales, which I'm going to talk about here in a second, it helped me break out of this victim mindset and move me into a victor mindset. Because what was happening, and I identified this all later on, once I got really good at sales and started moving into leadership, was I was shifting my identity and I was shifting my self-concept. Because for decades in my early life, I was constantly worried about money, constantly broke. But then I realized I was also constantly blaming, right? I was blaming my parents, I was blaming my circumstances, I was blaming my childhood, I was blaming the government, I was blaming other people. It was always something else that was causing my life to not be great. It was external factors that I was focused on. I was focused on this, and I was always seeking better outcomes and waiting for those perfect circumstances for me to start. I was relying on others, and I was really heavily reliant on the job, right? Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about that. Job security is one of the biggest death sentences out there, right? What sales taught me, what the system taught me, was how to generate wealth, how to become a creator, how to focus on my internal factors, stop worrying, stop blaming, and start doing the right actions. It also taught me extreme ownership, meaning no matter what was happening in my life, that's on me. My parents did their best. They got me to 18. They did their job. Everything else after that, that's on me. That's on me. I didn't really put this together until I got into sales. So I learned taking extreme ownership of my life and my circumstances. Instead of seeking outcomes, I started seeking self-mastery, getting better at my craft. I started becoming a creator. Instead of relying on others, I was relying on myself. And self-security instead of job security. That's why I've been able to move into different positions using the system that I'm teaching right now and crush it and become one of the top teams and become one of the top leaders in multiple different industries and multiple different companies using this same system. Because it has nothing to do about the product or service. It's all about me. And what I can teach other people is that it's all about what they're capable of, what they can actually do. So if you want to improve, you want to shift your identity and get out of this broke mindset, get out of this victim mindset, you want to invest in yourself, you want to take advantage and actually realize your potential and realize what you are truly capable of, that's why I created this system. Check out the link below. It's in the stand store. If this is something that interests you, you want to be a six-figure earner, you want to be a high roller, you want to be in that top 10, top 20% of salespeople on the floor in your business, this will do it. Check it out. And ask yourself this, when does panic, doubt, or worry, has that ever helped a situation? Has that ever fixed something by worrying about it, by panicking about it? It's so easy to stay positive when you made a bunch of sales. Well, I had 3 sales today. I had 10 sales today. I'm walking on sunshine. I'm floating above the clouds. Well, duh, everybody's going to be like that because you made a bunch of sales, right? But look at it on the other side. Maybe you don't make a bunch of sales today. They used to tell me every single day you're going to come home with either a pocket full of money or a pocket full of knowledge. Well, that pocket full of knowledge and wisdom, because you didn't have a lot of sales today, well, that's a positive thing too. That's a great thing too, because now you're going to come back tomorrow even stronger. You're going to come back tomorrow and know what to do even better. Because you know these things weren't working, so I'm going to do these things now. Who stays positive when things aren't going their way? Who stays positive when you're in the desert and you're looking for water, right? This is the key, because if you can stay positive, if you can stay, whatever, things are going to change. I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm capable. If you stay in that mindset, then when opportunity comes along, you're going to be able to seize it. But if you're into that negative spiral, you're getting sucked down into all I see is negativity. Good things can happen to you, and you'll still find negativity because you've wired your brain to see those things. Ability to remain calm and focused on the tasks at hand, which is going to lead into the next thing, but you're focused on what works. What works. Not the outcomes. We're going to be talking about detached from outcome in a second, but we're focused on the task. We're focused on what is actually going to get me that next sale. What is actually going to get me that next deal? What's going to get me that next presentation? What's going to get me that next pitch? You're focused on just doing the tasks right, doing the actions right over and over and over, and you're putting all your effort on how to make these actions even better every single interaction. Then you're detaching from outcome. You're not needy. You don't care if they sign up. You're putting off a much better energy because you're not desperate. You're what's called indifferent. Because you know you got 100 people to talk to, you got 1,000 people to talk to after them. So if they sign up or they don't, it's no big deal. I'm not going to take it personally. It's just maybe it's not a good fit. It's not a good fit for everybody. So when I talk to someone, when I'm doing a sale, when I'm doing a presentation, it is focus on the actions, focus on the presentation, focus on the excitement, the smile, the eye contact, make sure everything's great, the body language is great, the image is great, make sure everything's great that I can do, that's within my control, make sure my perception is great, make sure I'm not prejudging, make sure I'm not having all types of biases, and then just do the action right. And if you just do that over and over and over, you're going to become undeniable. That's the key. Because you just do the same thing over and over and over. And that's what really good salespeople do, is they have a system, they follow that system, and they master that system. You know, conditions, circumstances, they're temporary. Sometimes it rains, sometimes the sun's shining. Things change, right? But you don't. You remain the same, you remain steady, you remain calm, you remain effective, and you are always doing the right actions, irregardless, I don't think that's a word, but irregardless of whatever's happening outside, whatever the external circumstances are, you're focused more on the internal. Because that's what you can control. You can't control if it's going to rain today. You can't control if it's going to be sunny out. All you can control is your actions, your pitch, your pace, your perception. And that's what maintaining attitude's all about. Appreciate y'all. Make sure to join the Facebook community. Check out the links below. Have a great day.